welcome back to another episode of The Last of Us Talk Show. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are doing our instant reaction to Season 1, Episode 5, Endure and Survive. The way we always, you know, end the episode. That's the saying that's famous now. Anybody who's not a game player knows where I got that from, and why it's such a famous quote for the game players. Oh my goodness, what an episode this was, right? I mean, this one was directed again by Jeremy Webb, just as he did Please Hold to My Hand. And of course, we still had Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. We got a lot more of Melanie Linsky as Kathleen in this one, and Jeffrey Pierce as Perry. And we got a whole lot more. We didn't just get a quick second of them on the screen. We got a whole lot of Lamar Johnson as Henry and Kevin Woodard as Sam. And what performances they put in. Just absolute brilliant performances by everybody, really. But obviously, a lot of heavy lifting had to be done by Lamar Johnson and Kevin Woodard in this episode as Henry and Sam. And they just knocked it out of the ballpark. You know, as a game player, I can say that what Neil Druckman said in one of the after episode recaps. I can't even remember. I think it was after. It must have been after the Bill and Frank episode where he talked about how if they're going to do any deviation from the game, if it's only as good or worse, then they're going to just stick with what the game has. And I can say, as a game player, any deviation, obviously, episode 3 was a huge, huge deviation from the game, right? But it paid off. And as a game player, I am here to tell you, even the small deviations that they make from the game to the TV show have such a huge emotional impact. They make a big difference on these things that were already emotionally impactful in game, even more impactful in the show. And that just amazes me because as a game player, as somebody this is my favorite story ever in a video game, it just continues to amaze me that things that I'm expecting are coming happen, but they just change little details about it just to affect you emotionally just that much more, that it hits you even harder than what you expect. Because I'm sitting here as a game player trying to brace myself, knowing what's coming, knowing the tough things that they are going to present to us and put us through. I try to brace myself, but these little subtle things that they change have such a huge impact on everything, on how you feel about it, and just how much it affects you. Just it's amazing. So obviously, you can tell I love this episode. I mean, acting great by everybody. This episode, once again, for people who are looking for action, oh boy, did we get some action in this episode. And it was stunning the way they built suspense for those action scenes, the way and the look of the action scenes, the way they were shot, just everything about those action scenes were great, right? Just thrilling, suspenseful, knocked it out of the park with these. Like the first, we got, this is the first like big action scene, and we had action scenes that had big things in before, but I mean this was big. If you haven't watched the episode yet, and no spoilers here, but this is a big, meaning that a lot is happening. That's what I mean by a big action scene here. Just a lot of stuff happening all over the screen, right? Not just a thing here or there, a lot going on. Yeah, but a great episode, must watch. Again, so impactful as somebody who, again, like this. Not only was I expecting this to happen at some point, just the way the story is flowing. You know, I feel I can feel when uh the story beat is going to happen. Like when the episode, when they're getting to a certain story point, like I kind of figured like, okay, it's gonna have to happen in this next episode. So even the things that I'm expecting are coming and I'm bracing myself for, it still punched me right in the gut. um I mean, I guess I don't know what else to say. I mean, if you haven't watched the episode, go watch it right away. It's a beautiful piece of television. And this is one that you know, I I just know people are going to be talking about it all weekend long. It's almost kind of nice that we got it a couple of days early from the Super Bowl, you know. But and then so we have like all weekend long to talk about it with our friends and family and our community here online. And I definitely want to hear from you guys. I need those reactions in the comments or emails. Again, if you're on YouTube, just leave a comment. If you need to email the last of us talk show at gmail.com, I gotta hear feedback. How did you guys feel about this episode? And I can't wait to get to the episode breakdown and talk about all the details, because I'm excited to talk about like the small details that were added in here that are just, like I said, just totally emotionally adding so much that it's like absolutely wrecking me, even though I knew this stuff was coming. But just small details that they added in that weren't in the game, again, it's totally crushing me, and they knocked it out of the ballpark. I mean, at this point, we have to have 100% confidence in Neil Druckman and Craig Mazin, right? That they nailed this thing, right? I mean, there's so many things that can happen throughout the rest of the series. Still 4 episodes left, but now that we're just a little bit over halfway over, they have my 100% confidence and 100% faith in them that they are going to nail everything in here. Because again, anything, even the slightest smallest details that are either changed or details that are just added in, are just like making this so impactful. I feel like I'm just repeating myself now, and this is like a non-spoiler episode, so I can't really say much more. Can't wait to talk about it though. So for now, make sure you leave those comments, subscribe, notification bell, follow, 5-star ratings, written reviews. That's all stuff that I would love, because it helps out and it will help even more people find this and hopefully get even more discussion and interaction with everybody. That's what I would really love. So yeah, make sure you do all that, and just like this episode, until next time, endure and survive.